Semi-auto shotgun versus repeating shotgun, gun review and testing is the topic of today's video. Welcome and thanks for watching. I want to start off by giving a huge shout out to a Forgiven Pro who helped me with the testing portion of this with some of the clips. So big shout out to you, really appreciate it. So some people have some preferences on maybe some other shotguns. I'm strictly just going to go ahead and cover these two, specifically because they are the most expensive. Either way you go, both of these are a great option, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, both these two are a great selection. The stats are going to be very comparable to each other. There will be some slight differences as far as damage, accuracy, range, fire rate, reload time, with the repeating shotgun, according to the stats that the game provides, having the edge in most of those categories. But out of the stats, the three that are going to play a major factor would be damage, reticle size, and fire rate. So if you're interested in seeing the actual testing of these guns, you can go ahead and skip to about the 3-minute mark. Right now we're just testing out the fire rate. The repeating shotgun holds 6 rounds, the semi-auto holds 5. You will have a slower time in between each shot with the repeating shotgun, and the semi-auto is pretty much non-stop. So it is pretty valuable if you're playing PvP, especially when we do the testing and it comes up to the hip fire rate. And now we're going to go ahead and look at a stat comparison between the two guns with regular ammo and slugs. You will see the repeating shotgun for the majority of these stats has the advantage, although it is somewhat slight, but you will have an increased damage rate, reload, accuracy, and range with the repeating shotgun, and the semi-auto has a slight increase for fire rate, and as I mentioned, especially with hip fire. So we're going to go ahead and check out the reticle size. Right now we're testing with regular ammo with the semi-auto, and then we'll go ahead and switch it up to the repeating shotgun. You will notice that the reticle size is smaller with the repeating shotgun, and that's the reason why, according to the stats, it does have better accuracy. Accuracy obviously is going to play a major factor. The further away you get from your target in landing those shots precisely to do the maximum amount of damage, whether it's a headshot, a chest shot, so that will play a huge factor into your, thoughts with these two guns. And you'll see right there, with the regular ammo, the repeating shotgun has a smaller reticle, and same thing with the slugs. So that is something that's going to play a major factor when you are at further range. Now, at closer range, as you've seen in the testing, it doesn't really matter. Both of these are basically a one-shot to the chest kill, just the same as a lot of other shotguns in this game. So now we're going to go ahead and test out the auto-aim range for both of these guns. It's going to be very similar, but the repeating shotgun does have a slight advantage of a couple of feet where you can actually lock onto a target a little further than you can with the semi-auto. Although I do not really recommend using shotguns for this distance unless you are using Deadeye, or specifically if you have the slugs, as you will see later in this clip when the testing comes out. You still can hold your damage over a distance. So again, at this range, if you're using regular ammo, you're going to go ahead and try to use either a rifle, some other type of weapon other than a shotgun, and you'll see later on throughout this testing exactly what I'm talking about as far as the damage drop-off with the regular ammo versus slugs. So here we are at a decent distance with the repeating shotgun. We're testing with regular ammo, and you'll see the damage is about 25 to 30% at this range, and then we just switched up to the semi-auto shotgun, and it's roughly about 25%. So there's a slight increase for the repeating shotgun because it does have that better accuracy, but that's not going to hold true with every shot because the accuracy will change at this distance, and so will the damage per shot. So now we're reversing the view from a Forgiven Pro so you can go ahead and see that damage. Now here's where things are going to get pretty interesting. We're with the repeating shotgun at a pretty good range with the slugs, and you see that is a little bit more than half damage that we just took away. And then we basically did the same exact thing with the semi-auto, so they're pretty comparable, the same amount of damage taken at that distance. And again, that's the only way you want to go ahead and use any of these shotguns at a distance is with slugs, or if you do have, Deadeye active, which will increase the accuracy and the damage over distance. So we're going to switch it up. We have the repeating shotgun at mid-range, and you can see right there I am using regular ammo, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a chest shot, and you'll see that basically takes around, I would say, 70 or 65% of his damage away. So at this range, these guns are going to be pretty deadly, and this is about the range that you want to go ahead and use these. We'll go ahead and switch it up to the semi-auto at mid-range. Again, we are with the regular ammo. You will notice the reticle size is slightly bigger with the semi-auto, and the damage that it took away is roughly about 5 to maybe 7% less with the semi-auto versus the repeating shotgun. And here we are with the repeating shotgun with slugs at medium range, and that one right there is probably about 75% damage that was taken away. We're going to go ahead and switch it up to the semi-auto. By the way, just so you know, in these clips, we do not have any Deadeye or any of our ability cards active, so these are just the standard stats that these guns come with, you know, with the two different types of ammo. So here we are switching it up again. A Forgiven Pro is going to go ahead and shoot me with his semi-auto with slugs, and that is a little less than half damage. Roughly took about 40% of my health away. So now we're going to go ahead and use the repeater. Doesn't really matter what type of ammo, whether it's regular or slugs. Same thing with the semi-auto or probably the pump action, the dual barrel. Any of these guns at this close range are pretty much going to be a one-shot kill, no matter, you know, whether you hit them in the stomach, the chest, the head. So that's why you want to go ahead and specifically use these at about that medium to close range for the most effectiveness. This is probably going to be one of the more interesting tests in this video. I am with the repeating shotgun. A Forgiving Pro has the semi-auto. Again, I have 6 bullets in my clip. He has 5. And you can see his fire rate is a lot quicker than the repeating shotgun. And when I say a lot, actually, it's kind of marginal, but it is still noticeable, especially in battles. And the repeating shotgun, according to the stats, does have a quicker reload time than the semi-auto. But again, that is still somewhat marginal, so just keep that in mind. The comparison between these two for fire rate and reload is very similar, although the fire rate is in favor of the semi-auto and the reload speed is slightly in favor of the repeating shotgun. I'm going to go ahead and change up the angle. He is going ahead and shooting off 5 rounds, and you can see his reload time there. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot off my 6 rounds with the repeating shotgun. Because it is a repeater, I do have that little hitch in between shots, and the reload speed, it appears that it's actually a little bit slower, but according to the stats, it is faster than the semi-auto slightly. So we're going to go ahead and test out the hip fire rate, and you'll see how quickly the semi-auto can go ahead and get those shots off, whereas he shot his 5 shots in the time it took me to basically shoot about 4, and then I still had my other 2 shots, but the clip ended up ending with both of us almost reloading at the same time. So even though he can hip fire or shoot his 5 rounds quicker than me, and it's a little slower for the semi-auto, I'm sorry, a little slower for the repeating shotgun, because of that slightly increased reload time, we almost finished at the same time, even though we did not start shooting at the same time. So for this part here, I'm just going to roughly go through some of the customizations. If you do buy the semi-auto, it will come with either black steel or blue steel. So just keep that in mind in case you want to go ahead and customize the gun, because obviously it's going to cost, you know, an arm and a leg if you want to go ahead and put any kind of, you know, gold or different types of metals on these guns. So it is pretty nice that it comes with black, although I ended up going ahead and changing it up to gold. And you'll see all the different customizations. You definitely want to get the rifling, you want to get the sight, and those are going to be the 2 major ones that you want to go with between these 2 guns, or any gun that you end up buying and customizing. So just a brief rundown of what my thoughts are. I have had the repeating shotgun for the majority of the game, and I recently ended up getting the semi-auto, although I unlocked it, you know, I don't know, maybe 10 levels, 15 levels ago. I just recently picked it up, I'd say in the past half a week, and I've been really trying to test it out. I do notice in PvE or in free roam, I tend to go with the repeating shotgun because it does have a better range. It does have better damage, although when I do PvP, I tend to go with the semi-auto because of that hip fire rate is just absolutely incredibly deadly. So I guess if you own both of these, you can go ahead and, you know, see the difference for yourself. If you don't own these and you're kind of contemplating which one to get, you know, as I said earlier, you really can't go wrong with either one of these 2 guns. Just know that the repeating shotgun is going to have a slight boost in damage, accuracy, range, and reload speed, and then the semi-auto will have a good increase for fire rate as well as hip fire rate. So they do both cost somewhere in the range of $450 to $550. So if that's something that you're trying to consider, either one is fine. Just make sure you go ahead and customize them to the max. If you do have some of those other shotguns like the pump, the dual barrel, I mean, those are great options as well. They are cheaper compared to these, but you will notice that a lot of them do not carry as many rounds, which is going to be a huge factor when you're doing PvP. And somebody is diving out of the way and you only got 2 shots with your dual barrel, and you go ahead and miss both of them. He pops out of the way. You will end up getting killed a lot of time when you're trying to reload those next 2 clips in, versus these two. You could miss the first 2, and then while they're getting up off the ground, you can still head and either ADS on them or hip fire and cause massive amounts of destruction. So again, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to A Forgiven Pro for helping me with this video. I do appreciate you guys checking it out. Hopefully, you guys really enjoy this. Hopefully it does help you make a decision. If you could, go ahead and leave me some comments with your thoughts on which one of these you prefer and why. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come out to my channel and check out these videos. Hopefully it's something that you're interested in. I do enjoy doing these gun tutorials and gun reviews, and hopefully they do help. You guys leave some great comments on the bolt action versus Springfield rifle. I love engaging with you people, so like I said, go ahead and leave some comments so we can kind of talk about this, compare some ideas and opinions, and look forward to some more uploads coming out in the next couple days, as well as possibly a live stream tonight or tomorrow playing Red Dead Redemption. So again, big shout out to A Forgiven Pro for helping me with this, and a big shout out to all you guys that took the time to go ahead and watch. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.
I'd recommend loading up on extra ammo.